here we go. This is going to be fun. What's going on, everybody? Don't adjust those dials. There's no dials anymore. What the hell am I talking about? Monday, April 1st. This is not an April Fool's joke. Jake and I are back together again for the first time in like 6 months. Get ready, everybody. Here we go. Jake, how you feeling, man? It's good to talk to you. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you as well. Just excited to play some baseball and hopefully bank this $50K tonight on DraftKings. You can have the FanDuel money, and we'll start off pretty hot here in baseball. It hasn't been good for me. How's it been for you so far in baseball?
I banked the quarter tournament night one, so that was pretty good.
Nice, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
That's pretty good.
So no, I can't complain. I also did well in that first day of hockey, and then that didn't get any better, and then I just stopped playing. So hopefully that's not a sign for me.
No, that's all right. It's similar to baseball, as you have probably found out. It's high variance, so yeah, it's tough. I'm going through a pretty rough stretch in NHL right now, actually. So I know what it's like. Definitely had my fair share of tough stretches, but also the good ones as well.
You just ready for the season to be over at this point?
No, man, I love it, and I love playoff NHL DFS as well. So I'm pretty pumped. Like I've still got a good month and a half of NHL like research that I'm pretty pumped for. So
nice.
Yeah.
We just got a question in Slack, and I want to hit it quick just in case. I haven't been playing on DK. Are you in the $4 Minimax today?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Have you seen? Do you think it's gonna? It looks like it's not gonna fill. Apparently.
Let's see.
I haven't taken a look at anything on DraftKings yet. I can't do both sites and NBA at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds miserable. I'm just playing DK for both NHL and NBA.
Perfect.
MLB. But yeah, all right. So 57K out of 89.1K. An hour left. It's not going to fill. I don't think it might get to like 80K or 82K. I would think there's always a late push for anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never know with that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's going to fill fully.
That's kind of aggravating. I kind of want to get into that tournament now, but I have not prepped whatsoever for DraftKings. So.
Come on, play it.
Seems like a really stupid decision.
Yeah, well, you gotta take those chances sometimes. 50K could be yours tonight.
Yeah, we'll see where we're at 6:30. I didn't even prep my sheet. Like I don't even have the ability to load DraftKings lineups into it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I am not there right now.
Yeah, this is this two sports stuff is not for the faint of heart, I suppose.
No, I'm very much ready for the NBA playoffs to be like out of the first round, where it's just like one game at best a day, maybe two.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk baseball.
All right, I'm rusty, so go easy on me, chat.
Yeah, that's a natural thing, right? Chat's usually pretty tolerant.
Yeah, for sure.
Robert Wood says, Josh, can you help Eddie? He has no sound. Does it seem like I'm in a position to be helping anybody right now? I am on a completely different stream in a completely different place.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to help him out.
Go help Eddie right now. You definitely don't have anything going on.
Yeah. Gonna be a tough one for me. I can't tell Eddie no sound, guys. Go tweet at Ship My Money and Laffy or something.
Yeah, what? Yeah, everything's your fault. When anything technical happens, I just see people on Twitter just coming after you. So yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're the director of content, I suppose.
Lucky me.
Yeah.
Lucky me. So on FanDuel, at least for me, we've got, well, not for me, but for the public, we've got two chalky stacks, Blue Jays and Astros. I assume that we're getting a similar story on on DraftKings. How do you feel about the Jays and Stros? Do you have a preference between the two?
I really like both of them, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge preference right now as far as ownership goes. The team I'm actually getting a lot of, and I'm using the projections on the site. I don't have my own projections done just yet, but I'm getting a lot of both sides of the Angels and Mariners game. And it kind of makes sense. I think both those are going to be pretty low owned stacks, it looks like. And you guys know I love picking on Chris Stratton, just a hard contact machine. And then there's some guys. So I'm still getting used to like the players being on different teams, like Domingo Santana, Narvaez. I know Narvaez has had a pretty good start. Malik Smith. But yeah, just like looking at some of these players and knowing how they tend to hit righties, I'm really excited to stack up against Stratton. And then also what Adam said on the deeper dive. He also is on Seattle, so I'm pretty pumped about that as well.
Okay, well, I don't have much Seattle. I am with you on the Angels, though. I have quite a bit. They're a little chalky on FanDuel. They're basically all priced in a really cheap manner outside of Mike Trout. So right now, pricing on FanDuel is garbage.
Okay.
Like you can, David Price is the most expensive pitcher at 9,300. You can pretty much pick whatever stack you want with him, get a decent 3-man as well, and jam in any one-off. Like there's no rhyme or reason. I ran crunches earlier with no minimum salary, but I'm running like 300 plus lineups and sorting it out to pick my best 150.
Okay.
And some of the lineups, I'm leaving like $3,000 on the table.
Yeah, I think I'm doing something pretty similar on DK. I mean, on FanDuel, obviously the pricing's gonna be a little bit softer, so
Yeah.
a little bit of a different story. But yeah, I don't have an issue with that in baseball. Do you? Just like as a general rule, I don't know if this is something we talked about a lot last year.
I don't necessarily. I mean, it's giving me a little bit of pause because when I look at it, then I think like, okay, well, do I really need to save 3,000, or could I just not play as many Orioles? And
Right.
you know, in my heart of hearts, it's like I should just play less Orioles because they suck.
Sure.
But no, I'm gonna run with it. I think it's a decent way to differentiate for sure. I'm confident no one else is going to have any single lineup like that, that far away from the high end. And if it means that I'm going to be a little bit different, or it allows me to be in places that I wouldn't necessarily be able to get to, then I think that I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, correlation is kind of the name of the game, right? Similar to NHL. So I've been more okay than I have in the past, just leaving salary on the table. Like you need these outlier performances, and if you're leaving salary on the table, that's also a good way to get different without making stupid plays. So when the pricing's soft, people are more likely to pay up for the Trouts and the Altuves and Correas and all these guys, but that doesn't mean that they're locks to play. That just means they're going to be higher owned, which you want to get away from in baseball in general.
How you feeling about the arms today? It's honestly one of the worst combinations of pitchers I've seen, because I have no. They mentioned it on the deep dive, and Adam and I talked about it earlier today. I'm not even confident how long some of these guys can actually pitch, and
Right.
I find myself being like, if I give someone, I've moved some guys from, let's say, 5 innings to 5 1/3, and it dramatically affects where they rank for me because everybody's just jammed together as like the same thing. Anybody standing out for you?
Caleb Smith, but looks like the highest owned pitcher, or expected to be the highest owned pitcher.
Yeah, we did not see that one coming on the early show today, too. We just assumed it was going to be a ton of David Price, and we thought like somebody like Caleb Smith would be, slipping through the cracks. Turns out people got smarter.
Yeah, that was the thing. He was the guy that I was early on, so like he's a guy that's that I like because he won me a bunch of money last year early, but he's also really good. Like he was missing a ton of bats throughout the May and June of last season, and he was just giving quality performance after quality performance. So kind of disappointing that everyone's going to be on him. It looks like, especially at like the mid stakes, that $4 and stuff, he's going to come up as a good value if you're using Fantasy Cruncher or any sort of projection systems. But yeah, that was the one guy I was looking at that I did do a little bit of a dive into. But like the rest of these guys, like you said, it's just tough to kind of pick and choose between them. Like Merrill Kelly, I know Adam found out a little bit more about him, but like Matt Strahm, same thing for me. He's not a guy I knew a ton about. We have a little bit of a sample on Reed Foley as well.
Yeah, he's a guy that's not popping up for me today.
Yeah, he's expensive.
I mean, he's not coming up on FanDuel because he's literally not in the player pool.
Yeah. So on DK, he's expensive. That's the thing. So when I saw that price, I was like, oh, okay, that's an easy cross off when I was just looking over the slate early last night. But like, who else are you going to pay up for if you don't get expensive bats? Reed Foley could put up 20 here, and that might be a top 3 scorer for pitching tonight, just because like if David Price falters in any way, which of these guys is going to get you 25, 30 tonight? Because I don't really see anyone with that kind of upside outside of maybe Smith and Peacock if things go perfectly his way, and then maybe you read Foley. It's tough.
Yeah, speaking of that, Adam and I did a lot of research into like percentage of times people hit target scores for the NBA, and we've been moving some of that analysis over to baseball. So I did a lot of work trying to predict how often pitchers will hit a certain target. I used 20 as my cutoff for DK, and I mean, these guys are just all jammed together. No one really breaking outside of the pack besides Price and Newcomb. They're at the top for me on DraftKings. And then it's just this sea of guys separated by like 0.1%. It's really tricky. There are so many guys that I don't really think that anybody is super likely to get there. I just think that one of these guys is going to pop through, whether that's Matz or Urias or Hendricks or something like that. It's gonna happen. I just have no concept of how to pick out of this group. I would have such flat ownership on DK today to be insane.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. 2 pitcher say, obviously. No one's really off the table for me. I'm just using the projections on the site, doing a little bit of tweaking here and there. But man, it's like I'm going to get a bunch of Smith and Matz, and then it's just going to be a steady decline. Like it's not going to be me having 65% of one pitcher and 50% of 2 other guys, and then 30% of another guy. It's going to be 50% of like Caleb Smith, 50% Matz, and then everyone else is going to be in that like 10 to 20% range, because it's just really tough to try to pick between these guys, like we've said a number of times already. And like I don't like Price at all.
Great. So
it's yeah. I mean, on FanDuel, he's probably okay, but there are some expensive bats that are like even on his own team.
I'm playing a decent amount of Price on FanDuel today. I'm not comfortable with it. I assumed that I was going to try to come in under because I thought that he was going to be highly owned. And then we projected him for 14% ownership, which is basically the same as Matz and Newcomb and Caleb Smith, Urias and Strahm. And it was just like, okay, well, if all of those guys are going to be the same, then I think that I could just kind of need to rely on my projections and take what I'm getting of him. But I was fully set up this morning to think like, okay, I'm going to manually take out a bunch of David Price. And it turns out I'm doing the exact opposite. It's a wild day.
Yeah, it is. So being an MME player and you being an MME player, like just mixing and matching these guys on FanDuel, it's much easier just because you have one pitcher. But on DK, you just kind of hope you get the right combination, and you kind of hope there isn't one pitcher that gets 30 tonight. Because if that happens, there's going to be a clear nut lineup combination of pitchers. And the bats are pretty cheap to fit in all around. So that's why I'm more okay leaving salary on the table on either site really tonight.
Dude, every single time that I make an update on this stupid NBA sheet, I get another tweet that says so-and-so is out. Chris Middleton's out. Luke Kennard's out. And every time I click update and try to push this stuff out to everybody, it's already done again. That's
fun. That sounds I'm very envious of you.
No, you are not. Is there anything that you think you are on that the public is pretty clearly not? Anything you're getting
Seattle
with? Okay.
Yeah, I think Seattle.
Yeah.
And really LA on the other side. Like there's not great weather to target really either.
Right.
So like the 60-degree game is one of the better games on the slate as far as just like hitting weather. You're going to get 2 guys that are probably going to let you put the ball in play in that game, Angels, Mariners. And I know Felix, I don't like targeting him as much in Seattle's park. Safeco, is it? I keep forgetting park name.
It used to be.
What is it now?
I just know that it was Safeco. If it's changed, okay. I have no idea.
Anyways, it's going to take
I can't ever keep track of that stuff.
Neither can I. I don't know any NHL arenas either. But yeah, these guys are going to let you put the ball in play, and it's okay hitting weather. It's not a great park, but like, where else are you going if you're just looking at decent hitting environments? I guess this is one of them, and you really just got Trout on the Angels side. It's not that appealing outside of that, but I think Bohr's okay. I think Cole Calhoun is okay as well, hitting in front of Trout. He's going to get pitched to, and Andrelton Simmons is a guy I actually kind of like. So those top 4 for the Angels, and really anyone on the Mariners, I'm pretty heavy on.
Yeah, I mean, Trout is obviously in a league of his own. Calhoun, Justin Bohr, Andrelton, and a little bit of Poop Holes is popping up for me. I'll just be with the field on FanDuel, but I get the appeal. And I mean, Trout's 4,900 on FanDuel. It's so silly. He's so easy to get to.
Like 6K.
Yeah. He'll. I mean, that price in July will be so much higher just because of weather and other assorted garbage. I need you to talk me off of something. You ready?
Yeah.
I feel like this happened to me a lot last year. Well, it's happening again. I'm like double the field on the Orioles today.
Why? Wait, so what's their team stack? I haven't calculated the team stack percentage.
We have them at 6% aggregate ownership on FanDuel right now.
6% aggregate. So you're at 12?
I'm at 11, but yeah.
Okay.
Just so people don't think that I'm like lying when I say it. Have we gotten an update in ownership? We just got an update at 6:13. So let me grab the most recent ownership update. And I have not recrunched since any lineup news. This will wiggle a little bit, but the most expensive guy on the Orioles on FanDuel today is $2,900 Trey Mancini. Then it's $2,700 VR, and then everyone is either $2,400 down to flat minimum at $2K. They've become the team that I'm just sort of using as my ballast to pay up for everything else that I could possibly want.
Okay, that makes sense. Like if it's just about what they allow you to get in, then that's fine. And it's FanDuel too, so you don't need a ton of like homers and triples and extra base hits and all this stuff.
Right.
Whereas on DK, you kind of are home run hunting all the time, so that makes sense. If they're just dirt cheap and you're using a lot of price, but I'd probably get to a different line of construction where I wouldn't really need them on FanDuel.
I get it.
I guess we just differ on price. Then is the only thing.
I'm just I'm really nervous about it. I had them a little bit yesterday actually against the Yankees, and that did not go poorly. They filled out fine. Sometimes I just can't get away from guys that are 2,200 and hitting leadoff in a road game where I know they're going to be in there for 9 innings. I can't be that worried about Sean Reed Foley. I just can't.
He's got some good swing and miss stuff. I remember last season we played him a decent amount when he was cheaper.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously can't play him on FanDuel or anything, and the Orioles are going to swing and miss a ton this season.
Yes, they are.
So I don't know. I didn't really find the need to get to them, but if you did, I'm not going to say that's a bad play. I'm not going to act like I'm.
I mean, you're welcome to tell me it's a bad play. I feel like it's a bad play.
Why are you doing
confidence in it whatsoever?
Well, why are you playing them then?
This is baseball. I feel like I can make those decisions sometimes.
I think, like I'm playing a bunch of bad pitchers tonight. So
that's the weird thing about baseball. You get yourself like wrapped up in really not good dudes.
Or you get yourself wrapped up in like playing the best play. Like this is something that people are saying more and more, but like the best play and like the 5th best play aren't really that far apart.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
My God,
like in anything stacks. So Tom and Alex are awesome at this, and Eddie too. Like just playing the lower owned stacks that are projected for 0.7 runs fewer. Like the ownership difference is huge.
Yeah. It's so true.
That's how we get paid. That's literally how we get paid because they can do that.
Yeah. Every single team will have big offensive outputs across 162 games. And
the Marlins last year.
Yeah. Being able to be on those games in spots where they're just being completely not represented is what puts you at the top of a leaderboard. It only takes one lineup.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense.
Probably about that time for me to run another crunch.
I'm going to do that too, I think.
Actually, every lineup that has come out since I've run my last one has not changed to make anything worse. Only lineup that we're waiting on now is the Red Sox, I believe.
Yeah, and that sucks too because I really agreed with what Adam said about them. And that's the thing too. What I kind of was just talking about, like they may not project out as the top stack tonight, but they're going to be top 5 or 6, and ownership is going to reflect that. So playing a low-owned Boston with a near 5-run total against a guy who can't miss any bats, that seems pretty nice on DK or FanDuel. I'm sure they're going to be pretty under-owned over there as well.
Yeah, they are at 7% aggregate ownership right now. I've got 10. I'm a little north of the field. Most of that is coming in from me on Devers. He's only at 9%, which just feels really weird to me. I hope that our ownership projections are spot on, because Devers is 3,100. The other big five the other guys in the top 5 of the Red Sox order are 41, 48, 47, and 4K. So being able to hit third and being trapped in between Mookie Betts and JD Martinez at $1,500 cheaper and very little ownership, I'm going to take my chances there. It's not like Devers is some schlub above average hitter with really solid power. So I think that might be one of the sneakier plays of the day on FanDuel if that ownership is right. I like him more on FanDuel on the Red Sox than I like any other Red Sox.
Yeah. That makes sense. I don't know. Who are your other top stacks that you're looking at?
So right now, in order of my exposure, I am at Blue Jays, Astros, Orioles.
Blue Jays, Astros, Orioles. Okay.
And then the Red Sox are 4th.
What about the Dodgers? Are they you just count them as 1 just because it's obvious, or?
I have very little Dodgers.
I saw the
Max Muncy were in, I'd be playing more.
Honestly, the lefty masher, Max Muncy.
Let me hop over to the Dodgers right now. Kike is like the only guy that I have. Do you know if there were any changes in their updated lineup when it came out?
No, except Kike, I think was supposed to hit like 7th or 8th, and he's hitting leadoff. Okay. So just, I don't know if you guys have probably talked about this. I don't know how much he's played. I haven't been paying attention too much to the first few days of baseball. But he is always a pinch hit risk. I know we got burned by that less last year.
Yeah.
But just keep an eye out for that one. Like, he might only get 2 or 3 at bats. But yeah, if a righty comes in, there's a decent chance he's coming out. So hopefully that still held true last year. And I'm not just saying things, but
I'm a little surprised that I'm not getting more. I don't see what would be keeping me from them. It's possible that they increase when I run this next crunch, but I mean, they're set up really uniquely. Second base, third base, shortstop, 1, 2, 3. So it makes them, and then outfield at 4. It makes them pretty easy to stack at the top of the order. The spots that I would want to be getting the extra plate appearances are spread across infield positions. So I might see something different when I run this crunch. I'm gonna wait for like another 15 minutes or so before I do it.
I just think Pomeranz is washed. Like,
safe bet.
He's what has he done lately to warrant him being any good at all? Like, why are we thinking he's any good at all? Like, why are we not just hammering the Dodgers here is my thing. So where are they at as far as the aggregate stack ownership?
So they are at 7%. They are like 6th.
Okay, yeah, I love that then. Like, Bellinger at 5K, people aren't going to play him lefty, but I have no problem playing him. In a stack, assuming that you get the stack right. Like, they're probably going to see a righty at some point as well. Just give me some Bellinger in that stack at 5K. That's a guy that's going to be ignored.
I'm hoping I can make sure that I get at least 1 or 2 Giants lineups in here. And I know that sounds terrible, but Urias is getting a little bit of ownership on FanDuel, and I'm not entirely sure he should be. So I kind of like the idea of being on the opposite side, at least for 1 or 2 4-mans.
I don't know if I caught this part on the early show this morning or the deeper dive. What did you guys come to as far as a conclusion for Urias? Like, how many innings?
I gave him 5. I just don't see any scenario where he goes much deeper than that unless he's just being hyper efficient. A scenario where like you just can't take him out.
Right. So
but yeah, I don't think he gets there, especially for the Dodgers. I mean, they don't naturally just let guys go deep anyway.
Right. That was my thing too. So I was thinking, like, is he going to go 4? Are we going to see the Michael Pineda thing from yesterday?
Yeah.
Like, even if he's cruising, they just pull him? Because I read that article about them wanting to, or a little blurb about them wanting to limit his innings and save him for the end of the year. I don't know what his.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that in chat this morning.
Yeah, but then Adam said that also there was no hard limit on his innings. So I don't know if that meant for tonight or for the duration of the season or what that meant. So just like vague stuff we know about Urias, which is really frustrating because I would want to play him if I knew he could even go 5. I don't know how often he gets to 5. So he's going to come in behind like Caleb Smith and Peacock for me for that reason.
Yeah, I actually don't have him at all on FanDuel, or at least I didn't as of my last crunch, and I don't really anticipate getting there. I just don't see the appeal on FanDuel. I mean, so much of a FanDuel pitcher is wrapped up in getting a win and a quality start bonus, and I got to make sure that he can pitch long enough to get a quality. Like, I'd be shocked if he went 6 innings. So,
I don't
quality
think
start is in the garbage there. And while the Dodgers are set up to win, I need him to hit 5 innings, or he's just not getting it by default, no matter how well he's throwing.
Pomeranz still a reverse splits pitcher. He was big time a couple years ago. Yeah, he's bad against both sides. So he's just not any good unless he made some dramatic improvements. And I don't know what year this is for me. Yeah, it's just he's not any good. Like, so give me the Dodgers. Shocker there, right?
Yeah, as long as I don't have to roster Max Muncy, I'm cool. He went yard on opening day, and not a single person tweeted it at me. I was so happy.
Really?
Yeah.
No one did?
No.
I didn't even catch that one, I don't think.
Every time he went yard last year, I would just get clobbered with mentions.
That's what happens when you hate on Max Muncy. Max the Great.
Speaking of home runs, you know what time it is?
Oh, God. It's home run time, huh?
It is home run time.
All right.
30. It's been a while. I did not get my home run pick correct the first time or the second time, as far as I can know.
How many have you guys done? Just
I've
2?
done 2. I guess Chris probably did 2 as well. EMAC 1.
All right, so I'll start behind again. You guys started without me last year. I came back to the lead, but no worries. I'll take the crown once again.
Okay, I'll go first for you. I'll let you think about it. Let you ruminate a little. Who do we want? What would be most fun? I will take Billy McKinney.
Billy McKinney, that's a good one. I like that. He's a guy when I factor in my stuff that I use, he grades out really well, and he's batting leadoff. So
yeah,
you're going to get 4 or 5 opportunities there up against Hess, who can't strike out lefties to save his life, if I remember correctly. Nice. I like that.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Bellinger, I think. He's lefty, he's overpriced. I get it, but I think people are going to leave him off. I think you're going to get a low-owned homer, whether it's off Pomeranz or the bullpen. Sticking with my Dodgers theme. So I probably took Dodgers like 60% of the time last season. So we'll keep that alive.
Fair enough. There we go. There's the home run picks, everybody. Here we are. It's going to be a long year of me getting them right and everyone else getting them wrong. Just got a DM from Adam. He is starting to get some Orioles stacks on DraftKings. He's not really happy. So apparently my spoken aids is getting into his crunches somehow.
On DK? Why is he getting to Orioles on DK?
I don't even think he knows right now.
He's not playing Price.
That is true.
So yeah, I mean the thing, unless it's like mini stacks and you're just taking cheap guys, I suppose. I don't know. Is he seeing something in Reed Foley or something? That's interesting.
Red Sox lineup is out, by the way.
Yeah, I just saw that one. Benintendi is in, batting second. Jackie Bradley still in the 8 hole. All right.
That's leading off. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of.
All right. I know this is mad random. Any Colorado stack?
Is that a question from you or a question from the channel?
Captain Jenks.
Okay.
No, it was Blazing Rob. Sorry.
Okay. I was getting them quite a bit this morning. I'm not getting as much now, but they're in like the middle of the pack for me. At first, I thought they were going to be a top 3 stack. Right now, they are 7th. But now that we have the Red Sox lineup, I'm set up to run a crunch. Now we can actually figure out what's going on. How's hockey looking for you right now?
Oh boy, we should be
nothing crazy going on.
No, we don't have the Leafs haven't skated yet. Their pregame skate yet, so that should be coming up in a couple of minutes. So you got time to to figure that out.
Okay.
But yeah, might have to look away here in just a few minutes.
That's fine.
All right, Boston lineup confirmed. Yeah, I do like this Boston lineup as kind of a somewhat contrarian stack. Like it seemed like last year you could never play him at low ownership, which was really frustrating. But it seems like we might get some pretty low ownership here.
I don't really like going righty, lefty, lefty, righty at the top of the Red Sox order. That seems weird to me.
What's wrong with that?
I don't like situations where you can naturally bring in a different pitcher to face two lefties. Like, I would want to split those lefties so that if they're bringing in a reliever later, they can't get lefty on lefty twice in a row.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was like, well, they're not going to take him out. So
yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't want to like remove Benintendi for someone lesser. I just would let him hit leadoff and get bats out of there or something.
Okay.
Or drop Devers to fourth and hit Martinez third. But I don't know. People are weird. I'm just really weird about making sure that it goes like RL, RL, RL straight down the line. So probably some sort of weird OCD thing.
In premium chat, Jay Kelly says, sorry guys, I came in late. What are some of your core stacks? For me, it is, Fantasy Cruncher is really messing up on me. Let me run this crunch quick. But for me, Seattle, I like both sides of the Seattle LA game. Boston, I mentioned. I think kind of the obvious ones are Houston and Toronto. Although Toronto's been pretty bad to the DFS world so far. Have they not, Josh?
They have. People are not very happy with them.
So are people soured enough on them for their aggregate ownership to be low?
Nope. They are chalk.
I figured. Because everyone's always like, and I do this in NHL sometimes, this team's been so bad or this line's been so bad for however many days straight. Like, no one's going to play them. You're going to get them at low ownership, all this stuff. And then they come in and they're like the second highest owned stack or the highest owned stack. So yeah, I don't know. They're just high implied total 5.1 runs against David Hess, who's a guy that people love stacking against last season. So it just makes sense that they would be chalky regardless of how bad they've been so far.
Yeah, and it's weird, like, and maybe we'll see it in an updated ownership or something, but McKinney's not really getting the boost that I would have expected him to get for a lefty-righty matchup against David Hess and hitting leadoff. If he really is at 9% expected ownership on FanDuel, then I'm happy being miles over the field on something like that. It's probably the second most advantageous spot in the entire day outside of whoever's leading off for the Astros because they have a bigger run total. So I love getting to McKinney at low ownership. It's the rest of the garbage that I have a little bit of trouble with. But, you know, if Rowdy goes yard, I'll get Rowdy here. Terrible joke.
That's so bad.
My jokes have gotten way worse. Just get ready for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. We're going to have to work on those.
We'll get there when we get there.
Not that I'm the king of jokes or anything. Which high-owned pitchers are you fading on DK, Makadas?
I can give you an idea of who I would be fading. So chalk is Caleb Smith, correct?
Yes, chalk is Caleb Smith. He's almost 30%.
Did I paste it? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong damn table. I was like, did I paste this in the wrong spot? I don't see Caleb.
Sorry, he's almost 30% on DK.
Okay, so it's Foley at 26, Smith at 25, Newcomb 25. Have we had an update? Am I reading the wrong numbers?
Let me check.
There's like 6 pitchers from 21 to 26.
Looks like, Foley 26. Oh, Foley is Reed Foley is the highest owned now, 26 and 25. So they're right there.
Okay, so like I would not have him basically at all.
Okay.
Newcomb, Price, Smith, Peacock would be my 1, 2, 3, 4 in some sort of form. I think that I would probably end up on more like Chad Bettis, and I would hate myself for it, but he's grading out as like the pay down option that I think that I would get to if I needed to. I don't know how the structure would be. Like, I don't know if I would need to be down all the way there. If I don't, then I would probably be drawing a line at Hendricks. But Sean Reed Foley is pretty low on my list of things that I would have on DK.
Okay. Yeah. High price pitcher that I'm fading. I never intentionally try to fade guys, but David Price. I don't think that's a good matchup at all against Oakland. There are a lot of potential landmines throughout that lineup. So Malak Smith not Malak Smith. You've got Semien up top with Chapman, Piscotty, Davis, Kana, Pinder. Like those guys all can hit lefties, and you get nine righties in there for Oakland. Not saying they're all great or anything, but I think that top 4 or 5 is pretty good there. And
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous about it. I have a lot of David Price, and I'm cool with that with FanDuel. One pitcher is obviously a very different can of worms. I'm hoping that the lack of fantastic hitting weather and the fact that this ballpark is just cavernous can save David Price a little bit. Hopefully, he got some rest in, maybe did some massage or something in the off season, tried to get himself back. I'm not, like I said, I'm not confident. When I originally saw it this morning, I was like, I don't want to be there. And now 12 hours later, or whenever we did the show, it's like, okay, cool. David Price is my most exposed pitcher because no one else is there. Funny how that stuff works. And I didn't expect it, and now I don't even feel bad about it.
Speaking of unexpected, I did get to a few Baltimore stacks in my last
crunch. There we go. Now people are coming around.
Yeah.
See, I'm smart. People just don't realize it.
Yeah. You are smart. Yeah.
I'm not smart. I've never been less comfortable than rostering the worst team in baseball in abundance today against the chalkiest pitcher on DraftKings.
So I'm adding the channel on Hockey News right now. The guy that was out, the guy that was supposed to be out or possibly out is out. And then there's also other news.
Feel free to announce it. People that could be playing hockey. So
Pavel Buchnevich on the Rangers top line is also out.
That's not a real name.
He's not warming up. Concussion protocol. How is this just? Oh, that's so frustrating. How do we just know this guy's in concussion protocol a half hour before the game? That's outrageous.
You would think you would know that for a while.
Because it's not something like, oh, he was just concussion protocol 10 minutes ago. This, like, someone had to know this all day. This
is the first time I've seen our MLB Twitter account tweet out our dong picks. I haven't noticed it before, so dong picks are in. Exciting.
Yeah, hella dongs. All right, so
I'm about to enter my final crunch. I'm just sorting it all now. So I run crunches on 4-4 stacks, on 4-3s, on just 4-man stacks, and then I merge them all together and toss them into one big bucket into Excel and sift them out and grab what I need.
Sure.
Sometimes, there's no one set way to do it, and I just want to try to get as many of the best lineups I can. So sometimes that's not always going to be just natural 4-4s on FanDuel. You can only go to 4 on FanDuel if you don't.
Yeah, but you
don't know and just play on DJ.
You can do the pitcher thing. So you can play a pitcher with 4 hitters this year, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is a plus in my opinion. So this makes it so, like, on days where the Indians have an ace. I know the Indians suck this year, but like you could still 4-man stack them. So that is helpful.
I'm so nervous to click refresh here. I just have this bad feeling that the Orioles number is going to go up.
And that's fun stuff.
All right, there's the refresh. It'll take a little bit, but
we gotta play the Orioles.
I've got a very bad feeling. I tried to nerf them a little bit. I did knock like 5% off of their projections, so see how that goes. All right, top 150. I have my exposures now. Blue Jays 1, Astros 2, Baltimore Orioles number 3. 17% Matt Strom on FanDuel. How do you feel about Strom today?
Yeah, I like Strom. We don't have a big sample on him, and there's also some question as to how far he's going to go or how long he's going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a guy that I am getting to. He does look like he projects out pretty well on the projections on the site, which I put a lot of weight into as well. So
yeah, I like straight from the boss man himself, Alex Baker.
I know. He said they're pretty close to what he uses. Yeah. Or he said they're very close. So probably a couple tweaks in there, and obviously it's a lot about lineup construction with Alex and just like diversifying his portfolio and such, which you can read about in his MLB primer and diversification primer and all that stuff. But yeah, I think those projections have been super helpful to me, and I'm sure I'm going to make some money off them at some point this year. Not yet, though.
Are you getting to any Merrill Kelly? You fond of former Korean baseball players? Not that he is Korean, but he played in Korea.
Yeah, I am getting to some Merrill Kelly. Let's see where I'm at. So he's owned at, I don't have the update in, but it looks like his ownership was 9%. So I'm about double that. So I'm going to be up in the 18 to 20% range. Okay. What about you? Not necessary on FanDuel, I'm assuming?
Not so much. I do have 3%, just because of basically randomness. He's 5,800. It's just really not all that necessary. Decent park to be able to throw in. I'm not obviously a little bit more worried about a Padres offense now that Manny Machado is in it than previously, but
yeah,
it's just a sea of righties. So there are worse matchups in the world. You can navigate Eric Hosmer, and people seem to be able to do that without any real struggle.
Yeah, Hosmer was good. His the last half of his last KC season, so a year and a half ago,
just enough to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, he was hitting bombs. Like he fixed his swing or something, and all of a sudden he was just really, really sick. And now he's kind of not sick anymore.
I am making an update to NBA projections right now. Dennis Smith Jr. is out. Lucky everyone. I have no idea who else the damn Knicks are going to play because they are the biggest shit show in sports. This team is garbage, man. Garbage. It's like they put all of the names in a hat, and they're like, all right, you guys are the 5 guys that are going to play today. And then the next day, 2 of those guys just won't even see the floor. It's insanity. They'll go from someone starting to a full-on not available the next day. Not because of injury, just like the whims of coaching.
Really? Oh, I saw Drew Dinkmeyer. He tweeted something about like you could be so rich if you just knew which Knicks were going to play decent minutes each night for the whole NBA season. So
that is so true. It's ridiculous.
He's like, you would be a very rich man just knowing that in DFS. Like, so I'm sure that's frustrated a lot of people.
It frustrates me every single day. I have no idea what to do with these clowns. Like they've got a bunch of guys out. They're already playing guys that don't even deserve to be in the NBA. It's comically terrible.
Yeah. So that's why it's so important to like keep up on the day-to-day flow of things in DFS. Like I've had so much trouble like jumping back in after taking a week off.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. Like you kind of know coaches' tendencies, and obviously it varies with every sport, but like it's really tough to jump back in if you're not on top of it. Take a couple of days off or a week off. Man, that's not easy at all. So, and the coaches a lot of times don't make it very easy for you anyways.
Especially not in the NBA where they're just like, so-and-so may play. It's like, well, that's not news. You're not helping me. I know that he may play. I need to know whether or not he will or not. They're like, all of the news in the NBA has become incredibly like wishy-washy.
Yeah, because they don't want to get blasted when they're wrong.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting blasted, someone tweeted at
I saw it.
Bellinger LOL. So I'm gonna tweet back at Pat Smith.
Oh no! So you're not reading that correctly.
What?
You're not understanding what happened there. So he is not. Yeah, they're not coming at you. Yeah, I did the exact same thing. I was like, oh, that didn't take long for somebody to crap all over your pick. And then I realized that it was Berlinger. And then I laughed quite a bit.
I was thinking, man, this guy's probably just going 5K lefty. What a fish.
Yeah, that's like, that was my first thought when I saw it too. And then I noticed it. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't blame that guy for doing that.
Yeah.
Because my first thought was, oh, cool, I'm gonna shout him out on the stream and tell him he sucks. And then it didn't matter because he was right the entire time and we were wrong.
All right, so on my last crunch, 17% Kelly. So it's Caleb Smith up top, and he's at almost 60% for me. And then Peacock, Matz, Urias, Kelly, Foley, Newcomb, Strom, all between 10 and 30%. So a little bit of Yarbrough. I hate Kyle Hendricks. I hate playing him. I hate playing him against teams that don't really swing and miss even more. And he seems to be always on these slates where People just go to him because they think he's safe, and he's like 7K, 7,500, 8K. And there's no one to pay up for. So they just go, oh, Hendricks is safe. He'll get me 18. His upside seems so capped, especially against this Braves team. There's just not a lot of swing and miss as we saw last season. I don't think there's going to be much this season either, looking at their lineup.
All right, Premium Slack. We've got 12 minutes to go. I have just uploaded my lineups.
Oh, boy.
And lucky for us, baseball is usually relatively tame, and I don't have to have a panic attack when someone gets ruled out. So I can just kind of answer questions and be a functional member of this stream, unlike days when it's not as easy for the NBA. So, Jake, if you've got NHL stuff to do, feel free to handle as much as you need, but I'm just going to start grabbing questions, and if you've got answers, let me know.
All right, yeah, I think I'm good on the NHL front. I just got to work on uploading my MLB lineups, but I'll definitely jump in here.
Okay, yeah, get your stuff in. That's number one priority.
All right.
I don't even know how to say that name. Pedritoper? Is that? We're gonna go with Pedro. Just Pedro, because Pedro is your name, and you messaged me earlier today, and I totally forgot about it. So, Pedro, can you rank the Houston players for FanDuel? That is right in my wheelhouse, sir. So yes, I can. Let me pull them up. So for the Astros, obviously monster implied total today. Drew Smiley, not a guy that I'm super worried about making his illustrious return. So I've got 5 guys actually in the Astros lineup, north of 10% ownership. I've got 22% Springer, which is just slightly above our projection. 17% Altuve, slightly below. Bregman at 15%, slightly below the public. 10% Brantley, which is slightly above, and then Correa at 21%. I have every single member of the Astros lineup, but if you wanted me to rank them individually, I would say Springer would be my number 1. Carlos Correa would be 2. Bregman 3, Altuve 4, Michael Brantley 5, and then we're talking about, the rest of the slop at the bottom. Do you like any particular Astros just like off the top of your head?
Altuve.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like Altuve. But like those top 3 and 4 out of 5 really, Brantley can hit lefties too. Like that's just such a top 5, and even go down to like Gurriel. Like there's just no breaks in that lineup. So I know they weren't as profitable last year as maybe the year before, but like anytime they're up against a lefty, they should be considered one of the top stacks, assuming it's not like Chris Sale or someone like that. But like if it's some scrub like Bumgarner, then you're going to want to stack against them.
Yeah, Astro stacks are chalk today. So something that I'll be doing in some of my lineups, I have 7% Jake Marisnick, who I don't think is any good at baseball whatsoever. He's not projecting to get a lot of ownership, but using him in place of Brantley or Springer in that stack will allow you to continue to get exposure to the Astros while still being a part of a 4-man. It's not really sexy and it will not make you feel good, but I will have pieces of every single Astro. That's always fine with me when the team has the highest implied total and it's not particularly close.
Sure. Yeah, I think they are the number 1 stack tonight, and they're going to be that on pretty much every projection system.
Yeah, they're really hard to avoid. They're I mean, when you have median projections and 6 of the hitters are above average for the entire league, well, they're naturally going to be popping up quite a bit as high impact, high fantasy point players.
Yeah, that is true.
If you guys have any other questions in Premium Slack, feel free to drop them in. We got plenty of time. Baseball is so much easier to answer questions for than basketball.
Josh, do you use the upload data column? Do you enter in other columns?
I do.
Okay. So for ownership, I'm assuming.
I don't put ownership. Well, sometimes I do. I do for basketball. I haven't for baseball yet. I put my target score percentages in.
Okay.
For basketball, I'll do ownership. I'll do target scores. Sometimes I'll add like boosted projections. So I'll take my base projection, add like a full standard deviation to everybody. So it's sort of more like ceiling stuff.
Got it. Yeah, I was wondering how you factored in ownership. I know how I do it, and it's just add ownership, and then you can cap it or have a range that you go by. But yeah, it's tough trying to find kind of that magic number in FC where you don't want to go over, but I'm sure it changes every single day.
Yeah. So I am looking at ownership when I'm sorting through my lineups. It's one of the factors that get ranked for when I pick my lineups. So it's in my Excel sheet. I just don't upload it to Fantasy Cruncher because I don't need it there. I'm not really doing a lot of like manipulation in FC anymore. It's basically just a conduit for me to get as many lineups as I can into Excel to sort through.
Okay.
So I just use it as like the quickest lineup generation that I could possibly get to, so that I can see everything in one spot in Excel. Allow me to, just cut out lineups and move lineups around based on my aggregate numbers, which I have a feeling is a little bit similar to what the boss man's doing.
Yeah, I am definitely going to study study Alex all season, basically just see what he's doing each night and seeing kind of how he leverages ownership. I think anyone that's watching this, that's probably a smart idea. Using FC Rewind, using any tools you have, I think he's probably the number one guy you should be studying if you are looking for pros to study. And I would probably say that if I didn't even work for this site. So.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just the best there is.
Yeah, I dig into it on an almost daily basis. I can't wait until the NBA calms down so that I can actually do that sort of research. This week is just not possible.
Oh yeah, none of that's getting done this week for me. But
we got the question: what do you use for minimum lineup salaries? What's the most salary you're willing to leave on the table in a lineup? I've not been setting minimums.
Yeah, I don't set a minimum, but if I were to, it would probably be in like I'd probably be comfortable leaving like $2K on the table or $2,500 on the table on DK on any given night. Yeah. Shorter days more because you need to get different somehow.
Yep, I am leaving a lot of salary on the table today in multiple lineups. Similar numbers to what Jake just said, $2,500. It will let me get different. I know no one else will have that lineup. And with baseball, it's sort of different in that salary is a constraint, but it has nothing to do with, it does have something to do with whether or not people will do well. But just because all of the Orioles are cheap doesn't mean I have to spend my salary cap on the other four guys in that lineup plus the pitcher just because they're cheap. It doesn't change the likelihood of anything else. So I don't mind leaving it in a baseball scenario.
I think the best way I can kind of break it down is I value correlation rather than salary.
Yes, 100%.
So
that is the way to say it. 4 minutes to go. Nope, that's not true. I'm used to basketball. It's probably 9 minutes, huh?
Rushing to get my crunch in or whatever. We got an extra 7 minutes tonight, right?
Okay. So, yeah, we have 11 minutes.
If anybody wants to degen some NHL contests, it looks like there's a bunch of overlay in the big $10. Wow, there's a bunch of overlay in the $275. Man, a lot of overlay all over the place.
We've got 72,800 in the mini max special on DK right now.
Yeah, that's not going to come close to filling, which is good and bad, I suppose. Maybe it's good because they'll have a different structure next time and people will be more likely to enter it. Or the more likely scenario is that they just don't run anything like that, which would suck because that would be a tournament that I would be interested in every night if they had a little bit better of a structure.
Yeah, I'm still looking at it thinking, do I want to just crunch out 150, say YOLO, see what happens?
Wouldn't be the worst idea.
I'm sure it would. I'm gonna throw 150 in there and see how it looks. I don't have anything set up. I can't do it. Okay. No, that's silly. I was gonna just crunch out 150 and see if I like the splits, but I can't.
Okay.
I can't do it. I'm not set up for it. That would be foolish.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing with money here, so you got to.
But I mean, that's not that interesting. I don't want to be rushed. If I weren't on this stream, I would probably be entering it. I mean, that's really the only thing that's stopping me being live right now. Otherwise, I would just be like, meh, we'll crunch 150 and hope I win. It's not the way that you should be doing this.
No, it's not. And you have a bankroll management couple videos on YouTube. So if you guys want to look up how to build up your bankroll, check out Josh's video.
Speaking of videos, I've been getting a ton of questions of, are you going to do any videos about using Fantasy Cruncher for baseball? How do I use groups, stacking, whatever? Yes, I'm absolutely doing that. It will be one of the days next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something in that area. It's just completely impossible for me to do it right now. There is just simply not enough time in the day. But NBA regular season will end on Sunday. My wife will head to Boston and New York on Monday, and I will just have all sorts of time to be able to do that. So stay tuned. I will announce it in our premium Slack, but we will have videos up on how to use Fantasy Cruncher for baseball.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would be interested in watching those as well. So
I'll make sure I let you know when that's happening. You can hop on with me if you want.
Awesome.
No Luka Doncic. Already had him out, so I don't have to worry about it. Can you rank the Mets top 5? We certainly can. I'm hoping you want FanDuel. Go Ducks. If you don't, well, you're going to be mad about my answer. When I look at the Mets, top 5 guys I have in exposure, it's basically just 3. It's Rosario, who's 2,400 on FanDuel, shortstop leading off. I'm in for sure. I've got 9% Pete Alonso, 9% JD Davis. I'm over the field on all of those guys. I'm over the field on the Mets as a stack. Caleb Smith, a little chalky. We just have a bunch of guys in like the teens. So I actually did give a couple percentage point boost to the Mets just to get a couple of those guys in there, get some stacks on the opposite side. I have a similar amount of Caleb Smith, so I'm just kind of all over that sort of piece of the game. I am not on the Marlins, however, because they suck.
Yes, that's fair. They do suck, but so does I'm thinking of a different game here. Steven Matz, he does not suck actually. So he's a guy that I've liked picking on, but I seem to never get him right. The reason I would want to stack the Marlins here against Matz is usually righties with power or stolen base upside, and the Marlins just don't really have a ton of either. So I think Matz is a perfectly fine play.
I haven't dropped any of the plugs. Live Before Lock is the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose. It can include Fantasy Cruncher if you wanted to. So if you are looking to try us out, and we've got baseball and basketball, hockey, PGA, tennis, college basketball, NASCAR, MMA, we're all over it now. An all-access package with Fantasy Cruncher included. You can get 50% off for it. Live Before Lock. One big word is the promo code while you're signing up.
Did you play any of the college basketball?
Not at all.
Oh my gosh. They were like printing money.
I hear.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched. You want to know how much college basketball I watched this year?
How much?
I watched the second half of the Duke game, and all I did was see them lose and get booted from the tournament.
You liked that, right?
No, in theory, I am a Duke fan.
In theory,
why? I don't watch college. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't watch it. I was a Duke fan aggressively.
So was I.
Most of my life, and now I could give a shit.
Yeah, when I was a kid, so like 2 years ago. No, but I was a big Duke fan, and I don't know why it was, but yeah, I was, and I just kind of grew out of it when I realized, what, I like this team. Oh, I've got no ties to them. So I basically just dropped my fandom as I stopped watching basketball.
Just got a barrel alert, but it didn't go yard. It was a 311-foot line out from Unavoidable.
Oh, how about that?
He was my home run pick Saturday, I think. Maybe that was Sunday. I can't remember days anymore.
I did hear that one. So I think it was opening day.
Maybe it was.
I think I was listening to you guys while I was on vacation. So only 75 likes, huh? Well, people must not like this show. What is that?
Yeah, hit that like button, everybody. You really got to ask for it. People will forget. You know why they'll forget? Because I'll forget to ask. There's just so many moving parts.
Yeah, there are.
And shout out to Thrive Fantasy. I've done a terrible job of plugging them as well. Thrive is a show sponsor, player props. We're going to get all the player props loaded in. We might even start posting player prop projections on the website.
How about that?
So if you're a premium member, get ready. I have it already loaded for NBA with my probabilities of hitting each number, individual stat standard deviations. We've got all the goods. So shout out to Thrive Fantasy. They have a fantastic t-shirt that fits me perfectly. Shout out to me and me alone for destroying Adam in a prop contest. Full on sweep.
Yeah,
I assume you heard about that.
Yeah, I did on Twitter.
Yeah, because I could not stop talking about it.
I don't blame you. When you win a contest, you got to gloat a little bit, don't you?
Yeah,
I'm sure Adam would have gloated a little bit if he would have won, so got to give it right back, huh?
Yeah, that's just an absolute, utter destruction of shit my money, courtesy of me. 7:07 is lock? God, baseball's so stupid. I'm so used to that 7 o'clock lock. It's so weird.
Well, it's usually like 7:05, right?
Yeah.
It's getting here. So
who's my highest owned pitcher? David Price.
Boy, my highest owned is Caleb Smith. So I am a chalk donkey. But that's all right. When it's Dr. K, Caleb Smith, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I have no issue with it. I'm perfectly happy being triple the field on Price today, and I know that I'm going to pay for what I just said. But
yeah, but you did something smart. You saved your pitcher until later, so all your bats can go off, and then Price can get shelled. Or the other way around. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll know that I'm dead in the water by, I don't know, 7:07, 7:08 maybe, because I have the Orioles, and I'll just assume they're going to be bad.
Yeah, I've got a lot of these late stacks, so I will be only checking NHL for a while, and then, I'll see where I'm at for MLB and see if I need to watch anything, and hopefully bink 50K. That would be pretty nice.
Yeah, you're never upset about that.
No.
You never. Can be upset about not winning $100,000 on opening day because you're not in that tournament.
What? You did?
I didn't play the bigger 150 opening day because of just being live.
Okay.
Yeah. I had the highest score on FanDuel across the entire board.
Were you thinking about playing it?
Yeah, if I weren't on the show, I would have played it. I usually play something stupidly big like every opening day just because the contests are juiced. Same reason that I got into that hockey tournament at the beginning of the year this year, like without ever really playing hockey.
Well, that's when it's the softest too.
Yeah, when like the tournaments are always, pretty sizable. Cost me some bones.
That's a
so
lot.
I have, let's see, I have 383 of 800%. So I've got just under half of my exposure going starting at 7 o'clock. I've got quite a bit of Astros and Rangers, and then maybe like 20% of my stuff going at 10. So early games are very important for me.
For sure. Yeah, I've got some. Let's see. I've got early pitching. I mean, if Caleb Smith falters, there goes 60% of my lineups. So I will be paying attention to that and probably that only for a little bit, and then wait for these late stacks to take me to the promised land. Is the plan, at least.
Oh, I totally forgot to ask. Did you go to any Yarborough?
I have 5 shares.
Okay.
Out of 150, so 3%.
Okay. What's your take on DraftKings marking those guys now?
I agree with Laffy. I think said that. I think it's fine. Like I don't have an issue with it. I mean, and then like Adam said, I was kind of watching their back and forth before we came on. I'd rather have them not show anything and just like even guys that are in the lineup. But since I've been around like playing DFS seriously, it's pretty much always been they've showed guys that are in the lineup when they get confirmed. And that's probably good for them from a PR perspective, just because they stopped, touting the $1 million wins and stuff and started paying more attention to like the social aspect of DFS.
Yeah.
So just kind of putting people on a more level playing field. You still got to pick the right guys. So
Yeah,
doesn't
I
bother me.
wish they would leave the casuals like out to dry. That like personally that would be beneficial, that they just provide none of that information and everybody's responsible for it on their own, but that would also probably kill the industry. So
Right. And, like with Fantasy Cruncher now, a decent percentage of people, I think, are using optimizers that automatically will put the guys in the lineups. So I don't know how much of a difference it would make, or if then you would just be trading rake with those type of guys. I don't know. But it would be good in the short term. Long term, I agree. I don't know that would help the industry. So, but 16% rake also doesn't really help the industry when casuals can't win.
no, it doesn't. No, it
So
doesn't. Oh, did that tournament fill, or did the numbers just automatically roll up to the?
they go up to the thing and then it calculates. So
Okay, I just had that screen up there now, and I knew that I wasn't in there. So
yeah.
Jake, we're back.
Dude, we are back. Are we going to be back in the morning at any point when
You and I?
we'll slow down? Yeah.
Yeah. Starting next week, we'll figure out like a true rotation for morning stuff. I knew there was no need for you to be up at the ass crack of dawn, plus manage hockey, plus potentially do this show. It's just not necessary.
No, that's for you to do with NBA, right?
Yeah, I did 2 shows by noon today.
Yeah, a lot of shows, a lot of FaceTime lately.
Too much.
No,
Too
not
much me, at least.
Not enough.
I'm gonna lose my voice by the end of this week. And you know what the crown jewel of my week is gonna be?
What's that?
Are you excited for this one? So, working my ass off all week, but I am rewarded on Saturday with a concert. Any guesses as to who I'm going to see?
I've got no clue. I don't even know what kind of music you listen to.
Okay, well, this doesn't really have much to do with the kind of music that I listen to, but it is also the kind of music I listen to. I'm going to be seeing Ice Cube on Saturday.
Ice Cube?
Yes.
Really? I would have not guessed that.
No, and nor should you. So we have a thing in Wilmington called Azalea Fest. It's basically like a big downtown festival, and they always get mildly sizable musical acts each year. We saw Nelly a couple years ago. We saw Ludacris, and now it's Ice Cube. That should be a really entertaining concert.
That should be.
Yeah, it's in the parking lot next to my former office.
Is he a good performer?
I can't imagine.
Interesting.
I mean, he is basically just like a recognizable actor now. Although he did drop a new rap album this year, so who knows?
Did he? Yeah, I haven't heard of Ice Cube song from the 2000s.
No, a lot of his music is either incredibly not popular to the general public, like early NWA stuff, or just like club bangers from like 2000, 1999.
Yeah.
And then he took like a lot of time off to get into Are We There Yet 2 or whatever other stupid movies he made for like $20 million a year.
I was like, oh. Then I remembered he was a rapper.
Yeah. That's the best part of it all. He's probably killed someone in his life, and you're just like, yeah, he's just like that nice guy from the TV, right?
He was brilliant at Coachella a few years ago. Well, there you go.
Well, that's good to know. I just assumed he was going to suck and it was just going to be fun. But good deal. That makes me happy. All right.
Yep.
You ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go relax. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's good to be back. Oh, God, it's been so long. It feels so weird. It's been great. Baseball season is here. Once we get through this week, we could all get back to normal, and I can remember which players are on which teams, and I can probably continue to over-roster the Orioles. Should be a fun season. Anything else, Jake?
Let's go Dodgers. Late night hammer. Start off the season right.
Go Orioles. Later, everybody. Hit that like button on the way out.